Brendan.
Vint, I know we're going to lose you any minute now.
Yes, that's correct. I have just 1 minute left before I have to jump on another call.
Okay, so, okay, Brendan.
Thanks, Vince. Good to see you. Hi, folks. Sorry, I was a bit slow connecting this morning. Had some tech issues. Very excited last week to meet with Ivan and Lucille and David and discuss the, I think, exciting future for the forum. So yeah, we've sat down last week and put together some really exciting things to get this group really cranking, and I'm really excited to be a part of that and to maybe make a contribution. So thank you, Ivan. I don't know if Lucille mentioned we're also doing some work, research work with Alcoa at Monash. Did you mention that, Lucille?
I only said a mining company, but yes.
Alcoa is the largest aluminium company in Australia.
Yeah. Well, one of the largest in the world for sure. They're supplying their red mud, and we're looking at utilising the red mud to, which is a waste stream. The exciting news is, everybody, that Alcoa has actually learned how to spell circular as well as economy. They know economy pretty well. But, yeah, they know how many R's there are now in circular economy, which is a good thing. And they're actually looking at commercialising their waste streams, which is a really big step forward, I think, for them. So they've got major research and efforts going into utilising the waste streams, and they're supplying red mud to SA Uni for.
So our project is called.
Yeah.
Our project is called Red Mud into Green Bricks, and the red mud is also a binder. Yeah. So again, it cuts down the use of cement.
And just a couple of fun facts on the water bomb that's hit Lismore in north of Sydney. They've had 3 major flood incidents in the last 74, 78, and there was one before. So let's say 50 years. You'd be pleased to know that last year they spent $30 million on having a look at what they might do to fix the problems around Lismore. That wasn't to actually do anything. It was just to look into how they might address.
The good old feasibility study.
Which underwater that have never, the water hasn't reached in any of those 3 previous events. So it is a major, serious event for what's going on down the east coast of Australia. But thanks, Ivan. Really excited to working with you guys.
And Vint will be calling each one of you one by one over the next month or whenever to just get to KLT, know, like, and trust you guys. So Anne-Marie, and then Anne-Marie, and then we'll go to Chris. So Anne-Marie, share with us. Anne-Marie, you there?
Sorry, still on mute. I think the most exciting thing at Beacon at the moment, and I'll actually let Chris talk to that, is the platform that we're building. So we've basically building a platform that helps our business analysts assess applications for our fund. And within that platform, we are building measures to have continuous improvement in impact, whether it be financial, environmental, or social. So, Chris, I'll defer to you.
And just Anne-Marie, just share with us a bit of your story, like a win or something.
Oh, well, so I saved the research and development tax incentive, and you are all very welcome. So I worked on that for 2 years in Karen Andrews' office. And, I believe it's in thread again, but I fought to keep that incentive in place in the federal government. I also brought back the word innovation. If you remember when Turnbull left, Morrison would not touch the word innovation. So when I started in 2019, I started working on the Prime Minister's office to relax his view about what innovation is, It's not just about technology. You know, it's important for Australia. Australians have an innovative culture, you know, all that kind of stuff. So, and the third thing I would say is establishing the National AI Centre, which I directed funding directly to Data 61, who's now going to be the National Centre of AI with hubs and spokes across the country. And that's really important. That's about building Australia's capability and readiness and ethics around AI.
And were you working with Larry Marshall there?
Yes, well, as in he was heading up CSIRO. No, I was actually working more with Professor John Whittle from Data 61. And the important point is that, you know, CSIRO and Larry Marshall like to have the money directly to them, and then they decide what then goes down the line, whereas we made sure in that particular budget the money went directly to Data 61 to complete this project.
It was quite interesting. Larry Marshall was a VC in San Francisco, and
yes,
in 2008, we took 8 Australian companies to Silicon Valley, and we spent a lot of time with Larry, and he helped those 6 companies connect to Silicon Valley. So maybe one of the opportunities is to get Larry and Data 61 and CSIRO to come and talk. And I've actually reached out to them, and they've expressed interest in what we're doing as the Global Climate Action Forum. So that's quite an exciting space to be in. Brand, Chris, over to you.
So thank you. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you. Anne-Marie started at the beginning. Our ambition, not our ambition, our purpose is 70% of the global economy is subscale. It's the SME sector and so forth. So we're used to, most of our solutions are targeted at the big end of town. And so our fund is to invest into subscale, but also to build a platform that works collaboratively with small businesses, local projects, and so forth, to give them access to capital, build their capabilities. And in so doing, if you look at the SDG goals, a significant portion of those were actually about economics and income improvement to build the coherence of communities in order then to take on the challenges. And so our mission is to build the coherence of communities by getting capital to the local. And then from that, the jobs of the future are largely in impact and climate change. So unless we have robust, viable enterprise at the local level, we're not going to be able to do the work. So the fund is built on a platform structure, but what's happened over the last 3 months is the scale of major institutions, I won't list them because they're commercially sensitive, that are now approaching us. We saw it initially as an internal tool, but we have a string of major global entities that want to come into the system. So that's very exciting. Last night, to make the point, I had my first contact, and I think I can name this sensitive. We had our first contact with Ashoka in Germany, and Ashoka want to take us around Europe, etc. with this. And they say it's critical in order that we can scale it with multiple users, so we can have multiple, because we have no time.
And last but not least, we've got Paul Casper. Is Paul in the room?
I certainly am. Good morning, everyone.
Hi, Paul.
I'm in sunny Brisbane, which is rather wet, as well as northern New South Wales. So I work for a solar retailer company, and I've chatted with Ivan or made connection with Ivan from a LinkedIn feed that came up on my feed. I'm working on a project that we want to try and install solar onto underprivileged families' homes. We're nearly there. We need to try and find more funding to get this over the line, but it's going to have some really exciting impact socially, and also relieving some energy debt for the families themselves. So currently, we've reached out to Habitat for Humanity, who've got the stock of homes that we can get this done. We just need to get all the figures right. So Ivan's kindly set a meeting next week when I'm down in Sydney, and to catch up with, was it Anne-Marie? I can't remember. Yep. By the way, I didn't get that invite, so I need to.
I probably messed up. But
No, that's okay.
and I haven't gone to Jane either. But Paul, as I understand it, you guys are in the business of providing solar panels to homes and houses.
Correct. Yeah.
And what you want to do is there's a potential funding mechanism to actually deliver those houses. How do we actually deliver every solar panel to low socioeconomic houses? So Anne-Marie, what I was thinking is you've got a project currently in whereabouts?
Aboriginal housing. Yep.
Whereabouts?
Aboriginal Housing Office and Aboriginal Community Housing Industry Association, which covers the 200 community housing providers.
And you're focusing on an area in New South Wales at the moment?
We're looking at Moree.
At Moree.
Okay, perfect.
So currently there's like a $37 million fund in Moree to build low-cost housing, and maybe there's an opportunity to incorporate the solar panels so that we can incorporate both like regenerative to this building process.
We have a colleague who had done work like this in Haiti. So she's from Silicon Valley, but set up a solar company called 10 Power. And I think Herman might have put the link
on the
in the chat. And her name is Sandra Kwok, just really wonderful person, great innovator, and would gather kind of the resources and commitment and working with different groups to get the solar on the homes in Haiti. So
she's fantastic. I mean, if you look, and she's been at it for at least 5 years. So if you want to have contact with someone who has succeeded, also like with money from the UNICEF and from other UN funds, she's a wonderful,
great resource.
Really a great resource.
Great. And last but not least, we're going to invite Jane to speak. And then if you've got any ideas or thoughts or things that have come out from today, let's just have open discussion to see what can come out of this. So Jane.
Good morning, everybody. So I've already met some of you, but not all of you. As Chief Marketing Officer, I address the unique marketing, technology and leadership challenges of corporate. So said another way, I bring a pathway to the future. I lay down structure, branding, tech innovation and marketing, essentially so that people's really great ideas can get out there. And in the instance of this group, I'm here personally to wake up, and I have to say, wake up and be frightened, quite frankly, with what I'm learning. And professionally, I'm here at the invitation of Ivan Kay to contribute to this group, meaning that I can assist this group get the right audience in order to agitate and to really drive action. Thanks, Ivan.
Beautiful. So if I may just start, there's three or four, five, there's just so many opportunities out of this. Let's just talk about the first opportunity of Herman's and let other people say what we can do to help him. So he's developed this blueprint, this methodology to create blueprints for corporates to make climate change. Is that correct, Herman? If you just summarize it and then we go around the table to see what we can do to help.
Yes, that'd be fantastic. I will also supply, Lisa and I will supply you with information about how we, how this particular campaign is going forward, how we initiated it, where it is now. I'll send you information about that. The blueprint itself goes back to a book Lisa wrote in the mid-90s, actually, called The Dynamic Enterprise, From Chaos to Strategy and Strategy to Action. And it was, of course, a bestseller. Not quite, but it was the foundation to a lot of really
interesting projects.
Led to extraordinarily interesting projects. So the whole idea of a blueprint is to take in times of disruption to help companies and groups figure out where are we going, where's the world going, where are we going, and how do we get there. So
right, stop. That's okay. Stop. What I want to do is go around the table and see how we can help you. So start from my right to left. Chris, what's some of the things we can do to get Herman a blueprint strategy for corporates out there?
I mean, firstly, I'd like to see it. I'd love to see it, because actually what you've talked about is critical, and that's change management. And, you know, I come from global investment world and have researched companies for 30 years. And, you know, in disruptive change, virtually in every situation, and we are in fundamental disruptive change, the big fails and the new what happens comes from the small and the new. So we've got a paradigmatic thing right now. We're working from the small up with change management, but we clearly know we're meeting with BlackRock next week and they're talking through ESG. So we have so my former chief operating officer runs BlackRock in Asia. So it's running 3 trillion and they want to talk about some of these things. So I'd love to see the platform. I can take it straight into BlackRock within 10 days.
And it would be great because the finance component is such a big component and what's their strategy. And it's such a huge opportunity. I mean, there are trillions going into this area.
No, they've literally said to us, it's very early stage chat, would contemplate even buying us in order because, you know, they're not stupid, they're smart. So they're like a mega oil company and they know that ESG, what's clear is that change normally comes from new change agents. The problem is, and the old guard cannot move fast enough to change. We're in crisis. How do we solve that? So this is actually fundamental. And moving ESG into an iterative move forward rather than a backward-looking accounting measure is critical. And that's part of the conversation that we're going to be having with them within 8 days. So send us the stuff and let's talk.